Jones County. There's a tornado warning in effect until 8:15 p.m. So if you live near Stamford, if you live north of Anson, south of Haskell, you can see that hook shape on radar. That's indicative of rotation. So if you live in that area, I want you to take your tornado safety precautions. Lowest floor away from windows. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. I know it's Memorial Day weekend, so if you know folks who live in this region or maybe they're vacationing in this region, I want you to give them a phone call, let them know there is an active tornado warning in effect. Northern portions of Jones County, southern portions of Haskell County. Folks in Stamford, especially on the north side of Stamford, really want you to be in that safe room. This is a look at the winds inside the thunderstorm. The green represents winds going towards the radar at Dyess Air Force Base. Red is winds going away from the radar. That's where you have that counterclockwise circulation. Here's the community of Sagerton. You're just on the edge of that tornado warning polygon. Here's the community of Avoca. So folks in Avoca, I really want you to be in that safe room, lowest floor, away from windows. We have a cluster of thunderstorms moving through the big country. Right on the southern edge of that kind of cluster of storms, meteorologists refer to that as a tail end Charlie because it's right on the tail end. And that's where we can see circulation. And the National Weather Service and us meteorologists have been paying very close attention to that circulation, and we have seen that rotation really increase in intensity. So this area right on the border between Haskell and Jones County, I want you to be in that safe room. National Weather Service calling this a radar indicated tornado because we're seeing that rotation on radar. That means it hasn't been spotted quite yet, but given just how heavy the rainfall is with this thunderstorm, I wouldn't expect to be seeing it on radar. In the wind mode of the thunderstorm, in the rain mode of the thunderstorm, you see those red colors. That is some very heavy rainfall. Thunderstorm also produced some very large hail near the community of Sagerton in Haskell County. So it's a powerful thunderstorm, produced powerful winds, gusts of upwards of 70 miles an hour. So even if it's not producing a tornado, it's likely producing the very gusty winds, which we typically see with these kind of clusters of thunderstorms. Regardless, they have the potential to produce damage, and that's why you want to be in that safe room. If you live in a mobile home, it's best to seek shelter in a sturdy structure, a site-built home, maybe a gas station or a local grocery store. Stamford at this point just wants you to be sheltering in place. That's where the rotation right now strongest, kind of on the northern side, I would say, of Stamford. That's likely where we're seeing those strongest winds. Here's Highway 277. Here's that area of rotation. Green is winds going towards the radar. Red is winds going away from the radar. Going to put a track on this thunderstorm, give us an idea of where exactly it's headed. The rotation is moving southeast at about 25 miles an hour, so that would eventually take it towards Shackelford County, towards Jones and Shackelford County. So no imminent threat for you in Shackelford County. Just know that the rotation is on its current track, eventually going to be impacting portions of Shackelford County. So folks in Shackelford County at this point, I just want you paying attention. There's no imminent warning for you. And also, we are on all of our streaming platforms. So if you're watching us in Haskell, between this community of Haskell and the community of Anson, you can watch us on the Fox West Texas Plus app. You can watch us on your phone, YouTube, Facebook. We're on all the different streaming platforms, in addition to cutting into programming over the air. So just want to give you that information if you want to be watching us on any platforms as you're sheltering in place. But National Weather Service is currently warning for this, moving at southeast at 25 miles an hour. And you can see this is a fairly densely populated area. This has over 3,000 people. So folks in that area really want you to be taking this seriously, want you to be in that tornado safe place. I'm going to put a track on this thunderstorm. Having some technical difficulties. I do apologize for that. Thunderstorm moving southeast at 25 miles an hour. So it's moving fairly slowly. It's a little bit faster than you would be traveling in a school zone, but on its current trajectory, it'll be near Arledge Field at 8:05 p.m. It is currently 7:51 right now. So in about 10-15 minutes, and keep in mind it may be a little delayed if you're watching this on the streaming end, so just keep that in mind. But near 8:05 p.m., at 8:05 p.m., going to be near Arledge Field, near Bethel Church at 8:15 this evening, near Berry Hill School at 8:21, near Luders, which is right on the border between Shackelford and Jones County, near a power plant at 8:45, a second power plant by 8:50, and the Old Jail Arts Center by a little before 9 p.m. this evening. So this is a rough estimate based on the current speed estimated by radar. If any of these locations sound familiar to you, why don't you be taking those tornado safety precautions? And there has been multiple reports of 2 brief touchdowns near Stamford. That is just a new report from the National Weather Service office in San Angelo. So goes to show the power of this thunderstorm. It's produced 2 brief tornadoes, and even though they've only been brief tornadoes, tornadoes of any length on the ground can still produce damage. So that is a new report from the National Weather Service. And you can see this is the latest storm reports from the National Weather Service. That tornado was just reported on the northwest side of Stamford. So folks in Stamford, really need you to be in that tornado safe place. This has been confirmed by tornado spotters. I want to give folks a broader view of what's going on across west central Texas. A couple of severe thunderstorm warnings just to the west of Mitchell County, just to the west of Colorado City. The main story right now, the main risk of strong to severe thunderstorms is north of I-20, a tornado warning for Haskell and Jones County until 8:15 p.m. It includes just to the east of Sagerton. It includes the community of Stamford. Eventually moving towards Loiters, moving southeast at about 25 miles an hour. You'll notice that pink just to the west of Highway 277. That's the potential for some large hail, potentially ping pong. We've even had reports of DVD-sized hail close to Lubbock. That's about a little under 6 inches in diameter. I don't think it's quite that large at this point, but do know that this thunderstorm isn't just producing the gusty winds, the tornadoes, it's also producing hail, eventually moving off to the southeast towards Luders. Avaca needs you to be in that tornado safe place. This tornado has been confirmed to produce tornado by the National Weather Service near Stamford, moving towards the community of Avaca. So it'll be near Stamford at 7:45 p.m. So it's right on Stamford right now. So Stamford needs to be in that tornado safe place. It'll be near Avaca just right now, 7:54 p.m. National Weather Service saying by 7:55 p.m. So Avaca, this is your call to action. Here is Highway 6. Here's Highway 277. You see that hook shape on radar. That's indicative of rotation. So I'm not saying this to scare anyone, but saying it to inform you. You'll want to take those tornado safety precautions. Unfortunately, we've seen tornadoes across the South Plains with this cluster of thunderstorms as it moved from west to east. And unfortunately, that is continuing. Heavy rain, so likely difficult to see the tornado if able to see that tornado at all. And unfortunately, over a high population area. This is the most recent scan from that radar near Dyess Air Force Base. The rotation's looking a little more disorganized, so hopefully it'll maintain that structure. But this is a supercell thunderstorm, and supercell thunderstorms have a tendency to cycle up and cycle down in intensity. So just because it's cycling down at this point doesn't mean it can't cycle right back up in intensity. So hopefully that may give a little peace of mind for folks in Avoca. Regardless though, it's still powerful looking rotation. We can sample some of the winds inside the thunderstorm. And a brief tornado touchdown reported Stamford, Haskell. So this is the latest reports from the National Weather Service showing brief reports just a little while ago. So I need you to be in those tornado safe places. If not already, although the little bit of some good news, the most recent data from the radar at Dyess Air Force Base does look, and the National Weather Service still calling it radar indicated rotation, but just know that trained National Weather Service spotters have seen a tornado near the community of Stamford. Hopefully no damage is reported. Hopefully it goes over open fields, doesn't damage anyone's property. But regardless, the brief tornadoes have been repeated, and with these kind of clusters of thunderstorms, you'll get these tornadoes briefly on the ground. It's certainly not uncommon in the Lone Star State, but they can produce damage. So Avoca, Stamford, it looks like the tornado threat is moving out of southern Haskell County and is now moving into northern portions of Jones County. You are still included in that tornado warning polygon east of Sagerton, south of the community of Haskell. So I do still want you in that tornado safe place for at least the next 20 minutes. And National Weather Service warning this thunderstorm for up to ping pong ball size tail. So a very powerful thunderstorm moving across southern portions of Jones County. I want to briefly zoom out and show you what's going on across the viewing area. We do have a tornado watch that's in effect. That includes Stonewall County, Taylor County, and basically the big country included in that tornado watch. Knox County towards Wichita Falls, you're included in a severe thunderstorm watch. Not as concerned with the tornado threat from Haskell County towards Wichita Falls. Main area of concern again right now, northern portions of Jones County, southern portions of Haskell County. You're included in this tornado warning for the next 17 minutes. It's just before 8 p.m. For those of you who are just now joining us, I'm Meteorologist Britton Musall. We're doing live severe weather coverage for a tornado warning. It's impacting places like Avoca, Stamford, northern Jones County. So if you live in northern Jones County, I really need you to be in that tornado safe place. Lowest floor, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. That's how you can keep you and your family safe. It's moving off to the southeast at about 25 miles an hour. So hopefully with the slow pace of this circulation, it'll allow people to have ample warning time. So that's why we're here on air. Shackelford County, I do want you to be paying close attention. National Weather Service has just updated that tornado warning. The tornado warning remains in effect for the next 15 minutes. There have been several reports of tornado touchdowns in the last 20 to 25 minutes. That is the latest update from the National Weather Service. That's what we've been talking about. We've seen these reports of brief touchdowns. You notice that kind of cluster of thunderstorms. And the tornado threat's not the only thing associated with this thunderstorm. You're seeing that yellow polygon. That's for wind gusts potentially up to 70 miles an hour. And we're talking non-tornadic wind gusts. Large hail, potentially up to ping pong ball size. You'll also see those green polygons extending from Stonewall County towards western portions of Haskell County. That's for heavy rain. This thunderstorm complex has dumped a lot of rain over Haskell County across portions of the Fox West Texas viewing area. So remember, turn around, don't drown. Typically, tornadoes are a little flashier than flash floods. They're a little more photogenic, but they can still cause damage. They can unfortunately still lead to fatality, so still need to be taking it seriously. The reason we're doing this cut-in, we're doing this continuous severe weather coverage is due to a tornado warning that's been issued for Haskell and Jones County. There have been reports of brief tornado touchdowns and potentially could see some more over the next 15 minutes. This has been confirmed by spotters. We have seen the brief touchdowns. Hopefully the brief touchdowns don't lead to any damage, Of course, we want to be taking those tornado safety precautions, especially near Stamford. Folks in Haskell County, it looks like the main threat is shifting to Jones County. You are still included in that tornado warning for the next 15 minutes. So southern Haskell County, I want you to just stay inside that tornado safe place if you're in a bathtub, a closet, low floor, away from windows, next 15 minutes. It's really this hook area right next to Avoca, right near Stamford. That is my main area of concern at this point. Right where you have that hook shape, it's right over Highway 6 right now. You have the warm air funneling inside the thunderstorm, and that's fueling the rotation. You can step outside, you can feel the very soupy air across the Concho Valley and the Big Country. That's moisture from the Gulf fueling this thunderstorm, and that is right kind of between Stamford and Avoca. So Avoca, we've been here for the past 20 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes or so, warning you about that potential tornadic circulation. So I want you to take it seriously. I want you to be in that safe room right along Highway 6. Hopefully no one is traveling along Highway 6. If you know of folks traveling this highway in northern Jones County towards southern Haskell County, I want you to give them a phone call. It's best to take shelter in a sturdy building if one's close by. If not, you can also find a ditch on the side of the road. And even though that might sound a little bit silly, it is certainly better than being on a highway during a thunderstorm that's been confirmed to have produced tornadoes in the past, per National Weather Service spotters. And there's also a severe thunderstorm warning ongoing in that area, southern Haskell County, and pretty much all of Haskell County, and that's moving towards Throckmorton County. I'm not overly concerned about the tornado threat moving into Throckmorton County. I think the tornado threat likely to move into portions of Shackelford County from portions of Jones County. You see that flashing bright red polygon. This is the thunderstorm that has a history of producing brief tornadoes with this little cluster of thunderstorms and heavy rain stretching from the border of Haskell, Throckmorton towards Aspermont. Green polygons all across the screen. Kind of a lot going on right now. So I will take a brief second to kind of zoom out. Thunderstorms really blossomed across West Texas. We have that dry line to the east, dry line to the west, and that cold front to the north. That's where we've seen the thunderstorms blossom. This complex of thunderstorms does have a history of producing tornadoes. We saw, unfortunately, some tornadic activity kind of between Lubbock and Aspermont, places like Matador, saw very powerful thunderstorms. Those have kind of merged into a complex, and now we are seeing kind of some brief tornadic circulations with that complex of thunderstorms. And that's why the National Weather Service in San Angelo issued this tornado warning. Southern Haskell, northern Jones County, you're included in this tornado warning for the next 11 minutes. It's currently 8:04 p.m. We'll see if the National Weather Service extends this tornado warning. My kind of gut feeling is they'll issue a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag, which is kind of like a tier below a tornado warning. But at this point, we haven't really seen substantial weakening with this thunderstorm, so I could certainly see it. And now, as I say that, we are seeing a little bit less of a strong signature with that circulation. It's still definitely there between Avoca, Stamford, so I still definitely want you in that tornado safe place. But hopefully it brings a little peace of mind. It's not looking as powerful as it did just a little while ago, not as well organized. We're still getting that gate-to-gate shear. That's when you have the red and green right next to each other. The radar sampling about 34 mile an hour of gate-to-gate shear, and that's simply a look at the rotation inside the thunderstorm, how quickly they are changing. The velocity, that's the wind speeds at about 40 miles an hour away from the radar. So it's likely that it's sampling a little bit on the slow side, not as fast as those winds are actually going inside the thunderstorm, because the rear flank downdraft, that's what you call this part of the thunderstorm that's kind of on the Southwest side, definitely indicative of some powerful winds. And we still do have the hook shape for northern portions of Jones County. Southern Haskell County still included in that tornado warning. Again, it's near the community of Avoca. Until 8:15, and this thunderstorm has a history of producing several brief tornado touchdowns over the last 20 to 25 minutes, and that's been the story with this kind of cluster of thunderstorms. So I certainly wouldn't be shocked if they ended up extending that tornado warning, and it'll be near Stamford and Avoca around 8:05 p.m. So right now, Stamford and Avoca, the rotation currently right over you, and newest radar scan unfortunately looks a little bit tighter than the last scan did. And now gate-to-gate shear is also up. So as I've mentioned, these thunderstorms have a tendency to cycle up and cycle down in intensity. What it means for you, I still want you in that tornado safe place. Avoca, Stamford, folks who live between Stamford and Avoca in southern Jones County. Unfortunately, a powerful thunderstorm. This has the history of producing several brief tornadoes over the past 20 or 25 minutes or so. And the tornado warning's in effect for the next little while until 8:15 p.m. And you can see the very well-defined rotation between Stamford and Avoca. It's on the southeast side of Stamford, so we're talking northeastern portions of Jones County. Folks in Anson, folks in Hamlin, this is not a concern for you. You are not included in a tornado warning. There is a severe thunderstorm warning just to the east of you in Hamlin. So Hamlin, you're not included in the severe thunderstorm warning or the tornado warning. The imminent tornado threat right now, it's between Stamford and Avoca. And it looks like the warning is kind of clipping portions of Shackelford County. And just this time last week, Shackelford County had tornadoes move through the area. There was one confirmed EF2 tornado for Shackelford County. So hopefully this thunderstorm will weaken as it approaches Shackelford County. We'll see if the Weather Service chooses, what the Weather Service chooses to do, if they'll end up issuing it. It looks like more recent scans showing this hook echo honestly staying in place. This is a really slow moving cluster of thunderstorms. Earlier it was warned for moving at 25 miles an hour. And that is still what the National Weather Service has it moving southeast at 25 miles an hour. Since it's been a little bit since we put a storm track on it, I'm going to briefly give you an idea of where exactly it's headed, since it may be headed towards Shackelford County, and kind of put it right on the edge of that thunderstorm and see about how long it'll be. For you in Albany, for those of us who are, for any folks who may be watching from Albany. So it'll be near Avoca at 8:16 p.m. Avoca currently under the gun, then Berry Hill at 8:21 p.m. and near Looters at 8:34 p.m. I'm going to briefly redraw that. Most recent radar scan, the rotation's definitely there. It is fairly disorganized though, folks in Avoca, folks in Stamford. Folks in Avoca, currently the hook echo associated with this thunderstorm is just on the northwest side of town of Avoca. And you can see the large hail associated with this thunderstorm. It looks like it may be moving slightly on the northwest side of the community of Avoca. So that's certainly some good news. We've kind of seen a little bit of a right turn with that little hook echo. So again, Avoca, you're still included in the tornado warning, so I do still want you in that tornado safe place. And we had a report of golf ball sized hail that was in in 7 miles north of Stamford in Haskell County. That's where we saw the golf ball sized tail. So a really powerful thunderstorm. We have this complex of thunderstorms, and most folks seeing mostly a hail and wind threat with this kind of cluster of thunderstorms as it moves through the moves through the big country. There is still a tornado watch in effect until 11 p.m. this evening, and a tornado warning for Haskell and Jones County. So Haskell County, this is why you've been included in the tornado warning that's in effect until 8:15 p.m. because we have seen a little bit of some deviant movement, meaning movement different from what we initially anticipated north of Avoca. So folks in Haskell County still need you to be in that tornado safe place for the next little while at least. National Weather Service likely debating whether or not they're going to continue that tornado warning. It certainly does not look as powerful as it once did. Looking at rain mode of the thunderstorm, here's that little protrusion, and maybe seeing a second area of protrusion right along Highway 277, a second hook shape, and kind of that second hook shape right around at Highway 277, definitely on the weaker side, so that's some encouraging news. The main area is right here. The green is winds going towards the radar, red is winds going away from the radar. See those bright red colors? Those are potentially some severe wind gusts. We're talking upwards of 60, 70 miles an hour. Radar currently sampling winds maybe a little bit weaker than 60, 70 miles an hour. That's some encouraging news, since 60, 70 mile an hour wind gusts can certainly cause some damage in addition to potentially tornadic damage. So hopefully thunderstorm is overall on a weaker trend. It's just before 8:15 p.m. And we're also starting to see the sun set across the area. As the sun sets, that kind of limit that ends daytime heating. You start cooling off at night, and that kind of weakens instability, and you really need that powerful instability in order to get thunderstorms and in order to get tornadoes. You need that instability for the air to rise and to get that rotation. So hopefully that'll weaken things a little bit. We'll start to see a downtrend with the activity. Southern Haskell, northern Jones County. I do think at this point it's transitioning to mostly a straight line wind threat. You see those dark red colors in southern portions of Haskell County near Highway 277, Highway 283. And honestly, we've kind of seen this thunderstorm sit here for the past half hour or so. This tornado warning was issued about 7:45 p.m. And honestly, the storm has kind of sat here right on the border of Haskell and Jones County. Means it's dumping a lot of rain, and hopefully is on a bit of a weakening trend. As I've mentioned though, for those of you who have been sticking with us with our extended tornado coverage, and you'll notice that kind of backward C shape right here. It's right on the border of Haskell and Jones County. That's where I'd be concerned about potential circulation on the east side of Stamford. We're talking northwest side of Avoca. That is really kind of the primary area of concern. The winds inside the thunderstorm, though, they're looking less and less organized, and I really like that trend for folks in Haskell and Jones County. You are still included in this severe tornado warning, for the next minute. It's currently 8:14 p.m. So again, we'll see what the Weather Service chooses to do with it. It does look like it's kind of wrapping up on itself. Of course, if the tornado warning continues, we'll continue here on air, continue giving you the latest up-to-date weather information. Report of quarter-sized tail 5 miles to the north of 5 miles to the north of Stamford. I do apologize. Receiving a lot of different information. We have the one tornado warning in effect until 8:15 p.m. It appears the National Weather Service has allowed that tornado warning to expire. I do want to give it a couple minutes, see if they end up issuing a severe thunderstorm warning. And you can really see over the past couple of hours, putting it on a radar loop, it appears they have issued a flash flood warning in effect for Stonewall County, so not concerned about the tornado threat as much. Tristan, I believe we'll be able to send it back to regularly scheduled programming. We have had that tornado warning canceled for Haskell and Jones County. I still do want you just staying inside until the thunderstorm passes. The good news, though, is the circulation looks a lot weaker. We do have a tornado watch in effect for the Big Country. Abilene, you are included in the tornado watch until 11 p.m. Of course, we'll continue to keep you up to date on all of our different platforms, so make sure you keep it here. For now, have a good rest of your evening. We'll send it back to regularly programming.